Well, good morning. Here we are at the house. It's the 30th of July, and I'm going to walk around the property and shoot some video and show how things have changed since the last time I did this back in, I want to say, March. So there are all the grow beds. Eventually, we're going to devote those to culinary and herbal herbs. There's actually pretty much just a lot of weeds and stuff growing up, and over the next week or so we're going to start bringing the goats out here to browse that stuff down. Right here is a grow bed that I tilled up this past weekend. There's enough room there to have three 30-inch rows, and it's about 130 feet going all the way down. There you see the Leland cypress. We lost one tree to Tanya thinks bagworms. Is that what those are? It's actually a pretty healthy bush, and it went downhill real fast. Looking at this peach tree, you can see a lot of scarring there. I hit it with a tractor this weekend, didn't mean to do that. And another thing I did, you see where the dirt's a little bit discolored. This telephone pole, that orange cord, is our cable TV and internet, and that cord goes right under here, and they told me that they buried it about a foot. So I'm out using a plow that's reaching down 6 to 8 inches thinking, no problem. Well, there was a problem. My 8-inch plow grabbed the cord that was buried at 6 inches. Whoops. So we've got a couple more beds that we've got planted. It'd been a while since I did primary tillage on these beds, so I used the one bottom plow to flip the dirt, flip the sod, and then I used the 4-foot rotary to grind it up, and then I used my newest implement, the seed bed shaper. It's a bar that goes on the back of the tractor with 2 discs on each side behind the back wheels to shape the bed, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. The trees are really doing well. This is a cherry tree. We didn't get any cherries off of this one, but that's it's a 3-year-old tree now, and it's reaching up 7 feet tall. That one's about 7 feet tall. Walking over here to the bed. So what you're looking at here is the way it looked after I flipped the dirt with the one bottom plow, and then I used the scraper to get the dirt back in place, and then I used the 4-foot rotary to grind it up. Made a couple passes there. Here are the raised beds that I developed using the shaper. I just laid the plastic down last night. I still need to figure out how I want to anchor it. I've got a bunch of bricks and stuff I can bring out. Maybe tie it down a little bit better. I just wanted to make sure that I could get it to the point that it wouldn't fly away on me last night. There's a bit of a shake to my voice. We're in the low 60s this morning, and when you're acclimated to 100 degrees, okay, 90 degrees, this is really cold. I'm actually shivering. So The way I shape these beds is I made one pass with the compact tractor with the bed shaper, and then the next pass putting the left wheel where the right wheel had been. And I've got 8 beds that I've developed like that. And now the idea is going to be, since the plastic there is only 20 feet long, that we're going to go ahead and stagger our planting. So each of these 8 rows is going to get something different. We'll do the first planting this weekend, and then in a few weeks we'll peel that black plastic back half the distance, do a second planting, and then a few weeks after that peel it back and do the final planting on these rows. And we'll see how that goes, and maybe this patch up here we replicate what we've done here, but up here we're doing the same kinds of stuff, but deeper into the fall and to carry us into the start of winter. We've got 3 apple trees here. These got afflicted by die-off disease earlier in the year, and Tanya got right on it and cut out all the dead branches, and the problem hasn't come back. We started getting good rains here about 2 weeks ago, and these trees have taken off. The tree that we're looking at right here, it's about 10 feet tall that is reaching now. That one's reaching up about 6. That one reaching up about 9, 8. That little apricot down there, not sure what happened with it, but its growth was really retarded last year, and we had to prune a lot of dead stuff off, so now that's reaching up only about 5 feet, but it's looking a lot better. And then that's a cherry tree down at the end. Looking over at our tall spindle orchard, these trees are looking exceptional. We've really been good about irrigating these. Down low we've got drip hose running, covered up with compost that we've got from the goats and the cows and the chickens. This deep furrowing, that's me. I was just experimenting, trying to figure out how to use the bed shaper, and each pass took about a minute. I mean, real easy. I now can see how we can go about doing large volumes of potatoes and sweet potatoes, and heck, even onions if we're planting larger bulbs. So here's the tall spindle orchard. Half the trees that are the closest are Honeycrisps. Half the trees that are further away are the Fujis. This is half the planting that's going to go into here. We've already got more apple trees on order for delivery next spring. We're going to put in Empires and Pink Ladies. So over the winter time we're going to build a trellising system, because the idea with these trees is that we're going to cap their growth at 11 feet. We're going to keep them pruned up. They will get a bit top heavy, and so they'll need the trellising as supports to keep the trees from falling over under the weight of the apples. But there's not a problem this year because there's no apples, there's no heavy weight at the top of the tree. But that's going to be our project for the late fall into the early spring. Now coming over here, this is where we've got our raspberries. We have 5 cultivars, and I never can remember what they all are. We've got Preludes, Polkas, Polanas, Jacquelines, and Heritage. Hey, I finally got them. So these are preludes. These were our first ones. They gave us some raspberries in June. These are either polkas or polanas, and these are already passed. By the way, really good results on the preludes. Put in 5 bushes. Where are we? Put in 5 bushes, and all 5 bushes came up. These are the polanas, and we got 4 out of 5, and we actually got some fruit off of those. These are the polanas, and there we are. Got a couple of fruit there. We'll pick this one. That's overripe. These are the Jacquelines. These just started producing. I haven't been out here in a couple of days. Oh, that's good. And then this is Heritage. This is going to be the last berry, I'm sorry, the last raspberry that's going to produce for this growing season. And this is always good to see. Ladybug. Before we decided to plant this as a tall spindle orchard, we put Chinese chestnuts out here, hazelnuts, persimmons, and mulberries. As we had to make room for the apple trees, we transplanted the Chinese chestnuts and the persimmons and the mulberries that had been there to other places. Before we get into more planting next spring, we've got these additional trees that need to be moved around. We'll do that. A couple weeks ago, we put up another structure from Carolina Carports. That's just one of those metal sheds. It's a cheap way to cover a lot of ground fast. I like them. There's nothing fancy about them. This one has 2 roll-top doors that are both 8 feet wide. These are our tomatoes. These need a little bit of loving, a little bit of care. I'll get to them this weekend. These are our high bush blueberries. You're looking at bushes that are 7 feet tall right there. And it's been about a week since we picked these clean, but you can see just how loaded up those are. Now look at this. Coming over to where we keep our pigs and some of our chickens. We've got lots of weeds that are growing up. The chickens absolutely love all the shade here. It gives them concealment from the red-tailed hawks that we have such problems with. And eventually it'll be time to cut these down and run them through the tripper shredder and get them into the compost. But until then we're taking advantage of a source of shade and concealment for the birds and for the pigs. And I don't see the pigs anywhere. Hey, pig, 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 pig. Hey, pig, 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 pig. Hey, pig, 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 pig. There they are. All right, there are our 2, well, there's one of them, our black guinea hogs. This is quite an improvement. They used to not bother with us at all, but now that they've learned that people equal food, they're putting up with more contact from us, let's put it that way. They're not exactly friendly, but they'll allow us to touch them and scratch them while we feed them. My estimate, they're probably about 150 pounds at this point, maybe a little bit bigger. Those are both sisters. We got them from a breeder about 25 minutes away. Alright, coming into the barn area. Over the past weekend we had a poultry workshop, and we had a 4-H group come in on Monday. And so that gave us an excuse to finally get things cleaned up. So I've been getting pretty bad about like replacing the woven wire fence and just letting the bits of wire just go everywhere. So we finally policed that up. We still need to redo some of the shingles on this chicken coop. That's the goats did that. They've gotten loose a couple times, and when they do that, they turn this coop into their jungle gym. I think that may be a broody hen. It's been a couple days now that every time we lift it up, she's in there. So these are our khaki Campbell ducks. It's an egg-laying duck. We have 13 of those, and people who know what they're looking at say that if you look at the tail feathers, the males have a flip-up to theirs that the females don't, and based on that, a friend of ours believes that we've got 3 drakes among those ducks. So 3 drakes and 10 females. Alright, we've got our goats here. We've got 5 does. 4 of them are in milk, and the one back there in the corner, there she is. That's our youngest. She was born this past March. We finally have our paddock set up. Looking across here, we've got 4 paddocks set up, and right here from the barn, we've got an access trail that goes up behind. So even if we have all 4 paddocks blocked off, we're looking south there. No matter what, the animals will have access to shade, and then they can come right back and have access to their water. What this allows us to do, we've got 1 sacrifice area, but it's just a single area where we have to feed, and just one area where the manure will accumulate, which makes it handy to rake that up and get it into the compost. This is our newest addition, our little brown zebu. She's 8 weeks old. I doubt if she weighs any more than about 30 pounds. We're bottle feeding her. She's still just a little bit skittish unless she's really hungry. Hey, baby. Hi there. Good girl. I'm telling you, once you experience a bottled baby and how much gentler they are and how much they thrive on human attention, I don't think you go any other way. We got some more birds over here. We've got we're looking at 5 juveniles right here. Okay, actually there's the 6 right there. These were all born back in May. On the forum that I subscribed to, I talked about a hen stealing eggs and laying out 18 eggs. That's what's left after all the predation. This is our zebu that we got last year. So this one, Domino, is just coming up on being about 13 months old. This is the bed shaper that I talked about. This may be my favorite attachment now. This is the thing that's going to allow us to shape the beds over the years. We can reduce the amount of tillage that we do and just use that, go back over the beds to reshape them, and then use hand tools to dig in the amendments from season to season. We've got our hay and our straw for the year. What we still need to do is get our silage that we like to use. It's an alfalfa mix. Here between the two stacks of hay, I don't know if we're going to be able to see in here, but we have another hen that's gone broody. And she's taken to nesting in here. Is she in there? Yeah, she's in there. She's been in there for about a week now. And over here, this is another favorite spot for chickens to lay eggs. There is a bird back in there. We need to block that off because birds are taking turns laying eggs, but they're not broody, so no one's sitting on them. Hello, goats. This is the first stanchion that we built when we had our the miniature Jersey mix. I'm not sure if we'll have a continued need for that now that we're into such small animals. And then this is the another structure. Tanya's dad was out here with us at the end of June, and he put this together. We had the metal roof, the parts that came in, I still need to screw those down. That'll probably happen this weekend. But as you can see, we're looking at a fairly large structure here. We've got 21 nest boxes, 3 rows of 7. The intent is to build up to a flock of anywhere between 30 and 50 birds to produce as many as 30 dozen eggs per week. These are all roosting bars that will accommodate that many birds getting in here. Yeah, it's a full-size door that I just came through, screen door. That's a south-facing window. 2 north-facing windows. And we decided not to put any windows on the east side or the west side because the storms, when they blow through here, when the wind blows hard, it's coming in from either the west or from the east. And so this is the beginning of our food forest. Probably if I walk around and get the sun behind me, it'll be a little bit easier to see. So we planted 40 muscadine vines. We lost about 10 of those, so we're down to about 30. This vine's been has a little bit of insect damage, but it's looking pretty good. And this was there wasn't much of anything to these vines when we put them in the ground. We've got 3 rows of muscadines. There's a row, there's a row, and there's a row. I'm sorry, the other row's right over there. About halfway into this field, we've got 12 apple trees. We've lost some this summer due to the drought, and we came out here with the tractor. We've got a 65-gallon tank that we put into the front loader, and we came out and hand watered 4 different times, and unfortunately I think it happened that a couple of those times we missed a couple of trees. So yeah, this one's actually looking a lot better. Like I said, we've had a couple of dry spells that have gone on 3-4 weeks without any rain, and we've been getting really consistent rain here for the last 2 weeks. Hopefully that'll keep up. All right, so there's a tree that's dried to a crisp. So that's one. And I thought there was another one up here that we'd lost. So we have no right to complain really about losing trees. We put in, 168 trees in the high spindle orchard. Haven't lost any of those. And 20 trees out here. That's 88 trees plus 2 pawpaws is 70 trees. We put in 70 trees this past spring. And it appears that of those, we've lost 1 tree out here. And the pawpaws aren't doing a whole lot. I'm not ready to write those off as losses yet. So here we've got the black locust. They're finally producing these pods. We've coppiced these twice. So all these trees, I coppiced them down to 4 feet over the winter. And then this summer we coppiced them back down to about 4 or 5 feet. Here we're looking at cherries. I'm not going to walk you through every single tree. I'm going to go back through. But what we want to do in these alleyways, I'm going to do a closer mowing here over the next couple of weeks. And we want to put in some kind of a grain or forage crop for the animals that we can mow down on a periodic basis and toss over the fence for the animals. We also wanted to fill in the gaps between the fruit trees and get some more of the stuff that you expect to see in a food forest going. Well, now that we're out here in front of the pasture, you can see how we're managing the paddocks. So we replaced most of our woven fence. We only have woven fence around the outside perimeter and going right down and bisecting the field. Everything else, we've gone with T-posts and livestock panels because the goats are just so hard on all the fence. They like to stand on everything, and I just went with something that's more durable. And so looking up by the trees there, that's the access path that the animals have. Every week we open up another paddock and close off the old one. They're now in paddock number 2. This weekend they'll come into the paddock that we're looking at. We've got a lot more vegetation now that's getting up to be more than a foot. Again, these dry spells, it was really tough. We weren't getting much growth, and just there wasn't a whole lot of benefit to moving the animals around because by the time the 4th week was up, it was time to move them back to a place they'd been. There just wasn't a whole lot of growth, and this field's looking a whole lot better. We've got a mix of Lespedeza, white clover, crabgrass, and fescue mix, and we'll mix in a couple of other things and and reinvigorate the original plantings that we had. Do that this fall. So that's how things look now. On a beautiful, cool morning here on July 30th. Until next time.